again. It is time for Once Upon a Tune, the podcast about tunes where we celebrate music
and the characters who make it. What's up, y'all? I'm Broke Boland.
And I'm Dev Jana, your hosts every week here. And this is going to be a special edition. Not only are we once again in the same place at the same time, but...
Wait, we got to prove it.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
Coffee cups, that's right.
Coffee cheers. But the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, just down the street here, we're in my hometown of Erie, Pennsylvania, where Matt currently runs Aerotone Productions, a production company specializing in recording, engineering, live sound, and remastering.
We just do whatever people need that we can handle.
All right. and down the street from here is Cleveland, Ohio, where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is. They just announced their inductees for this year. I looked at the list. Matt did not. So he's not even sure. Well, he knows two of the inductees.
I'm going in blind to this. I did hear from you about Iron Maiden. And then I heard from my sister about Wu-Tang. Happen to be a pretty big Wu-Tang fan. So
yeah, the centerpiece of his one of the centerpieces of his living room is some Wu-Tang stuff. And so what we're going to start off with here is I'm going to read through the nominees, and we'll have him guess whether or not they got in. All right, and so I'm going to just kind of start at the top of this article here. Phil Collins.
So am I just guessing right now if they actually got inducted?
Yep, and give us a bit of your thoughts as to why or why not.
Wait, so Phil Collins isn't in already?
Yeah. So this is why I'm so excited about. Yeah, I believe Genesis is.
Okay, so Phil Collins is in there, but we're talking about solo Phil Collins.
Yeah, Phil Collins as an artist, right?
Okay, and for the record, I actually make annual trips to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, sometimes multiple times a year. It's one of my favorite places to go decompress and get inspired, and mad. we'll get there.
Yeah.
But Phil Collins, man. So I got to go like one at a time.
Yes.
Oh man, I'm gonna say yes to everyone. I would assume, because I know he's getting up there, and like I think he just stopped performing a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I would assume they're probably going to do it while he's still in good enough health to accept it.
Yeah, it seems weird. I said the same thing. I was like, Phil Collins isn't already in there.
Yeah.
Not that he's one of my favorite artists as a solo artist. I prefer Genesis over Phil Collins, but
yeah, but you can't deny Phil Collins.
No, yeah, exactly. Or I mean, just as not even as a songwriter, but just as a drummer. He has probably the most prominent drum fill of all time. Like the most recognizable drum fill of all time. Yep, exactly.
That probably didn't even pick up. But I just patted out in the air tonight.
Yep. Next one is Oasis. Yeah, this is a chin scratcher, right?
I don't know, because like, are they going to be in there at some point? Of course. Is this the year? That's more the question.
Yeah.
You know, is this the year, and is politically, politically, are they going in this year?
I mean, they just had their reunion and stuff like that. So the Rock Hall does like to, like kind of.
So you're not telling me if I get them right or wrong?
Later we will.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just because they
I know, right?
No, I don't know. Oasis, do they deserve to be? Yes. Do I think they're getting in this? Yeah, I'll say yes. It seems like it is the right time, man. I do hear like the younglings talking about Oasis these days.
They're having a resurgence. We talked about Oasis the other week when we did an episode about siblings in music. So we talked quite a bit about them then. And yeah, they're having a bit of a resurgence, and people are really kind of paying attention to kind of 90s rock. It's a perfect example of music that AI would not have made.
Right.
But I'm sure they're training AI on it. Okay, the next one is Shakira.
Ooh. So this is the interesting thing about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right? It's not about rock and roll anymore. No. It's just the Music Hall of Fame.
And I think that...
I mean, no disrespect to Wu-Tang, but like, Wu-Tang rocks, but are they rock and roll? No.
I mean, LL Cool J is one of my favorite people of all time, a hero of mine when I was a kid. The very first time anybody heard rap on TV, like broadcast out on national TV with a live band, was his Unplugged. And like Mama Said Knock You Out. Is there a better reason to knock someone out?
No.
Mama told you, it's like, yeah, you're going down, bro.
Yeah.
He got in before Iron Maiden. You know, it's a perfect example of like why some people,
but again,
like us,
the
really are
politicking.
like, is it the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Or is it the Music Hall of Fame? All right,
The politicking. So okay,
back
Shakira.
to Shakira. Yeah.
So Shakira, awesome Latin pop star. Where's she from?
That's fair.
Where,
I don't know where she's from. Yeah.
I can't think of where she's from. I did know.
While you're considering that, I'll find out.
But I'm gonna say she deserves to be in there for sure.
Colombia.
Colombia, yeah. So I would say no. I don't think she got in this year. Oasis, yes. Shakira, no. But she'll be in there.
All right. And then we already talked about Wu-Tang and Iron Maiden. Those are the next two on this list. Mariah Carey.
No. It's easy so I can put it. Sorry, Mariah. If you would, you are one Christmas song away from me never being really annoyed by you.
That's fair. Lauryn Hill.
Oh, Lauryn Hill. So I haven't kept up with how they do it because I want to say like, oh, that's a definite maybe, but I don't know if they're like careful on like, okay, we're not going to induct too many hip hop acts.
Yeah.
Like this is our hip hop act this year. This is our pop act this year. You know what I mean? So for that reason, I'm going to say no, but I want her to be there.
Yeah, me too. When we get to who actually made it in, we'll have a discussion about who we think deserves it and not. But we'll go through at least a few more.
Okay.
Pink.
Oh, Pink. I don't think she's in yet. I think she's got more in the tank before they induct her.
I want to say this is her first time being nominated. Okay, so we'll go through the rest of the list a little bit faster and see where we get. The next is Joy Division / New Order, so both.
Yes. If they're not in there yet, yes.
I felt the same way when I was
like 100%. Yeah.
And then
they need to be in there.
And then I go, oh right, Iron Maiden wasn't in there. Rush wasn't in there for like 20 years. I don't think Deep Purple's in there yet. Okay, this next one, Billy Idol.
Yes. What?
Exactly. How was he not in there yet? I felt the same way. I was like,
he's got to be going this year.
All right.
How much longer are they going to wait until he can't?
I think they like the controversy though. They like having people complain about him. So like that would be one.
I mean, it works.
Jeff Buckley.
Man, I don't know who else is on the list. So that sounds like a name that would go in soon. You know what I mean?
And to be fair, Jeff Buckley is one of my favorite all-time artists. And I felt the same way. I was like, he's got it.
It's got to be time.
A perfect example of the kind of artist you would expect to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right?
Well,
it's like a prestige artist, not necessarily the best-selling, but everyone who's listened to him has agreed, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Right? Passed away before his time, before he could have gotten as big. But what do you think? Yes or no?
I'll say yes because it just seems like he's one of those...
He's a landmark artist, right?
Well, landmark artist, but if you look at the wide span, they try and induct people from like different eras, different genres, different. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He seems like the perfect one to fill in that gap for what he is.
Yep. So yes on Jeff Buckley. Sade.
No.
Luther Vandross.
It's a crime he's not there.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll say I will tell everyone they have to wait a year if it's just Luther Vandross.
Yeah. In Excess.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They should be.
Interesting one. In Excess is a super important band to me personally, but
I'm gonna be upset if In Excess got the 80s spot before Billy Idol. Billy Idol.
Well,
but I don't think they'd both be. You know what I mean?
There's three more that we're going to discuss too, just to keep that.
Okay, so I'm going to say no to In Excess.
Okay, Melissa Etheridge.
Yes.
It's weird. She's kind of disappeared. Like Melissa Etheridge was super important when she was around. Really, I honestly don't think anybody else sounds like her. I can pick her voice out the moment I hear like two notes from her. But
Rod Stewart kind of sounds like her.
Oh my gosh! I never put those two together.
Think about it.
Wow, that's really interesting.
They both have that rasp.
Yeah, and very different like approaches to the music itself.
Yeah,
wow.
For sure.
Right,
I always thought about that. I'm like, Melissa Etheridge is kind of like a female Rod Stewart. As far as the way she uses her voice.
That's really, I'd never really thought about that. And in her production is so different because she's from a later era. But the songs are pretty straightforward songs. All right, the Black Crowes.
I'm gonna say no, just because I would have heard about it.
That's fair. And the last one is New Edition. Well, I don't even think you ever listened to it.
No.
Okay.
Oh, I know New Edition, but I hope it's a no, and that Billy Idol got it.
All right.
If the New Edition got in and Billy Idol didn't, Cleveland's a short drive, man. We might have to go throw hands.
Yeah. Bro, there's a couple of reasons to that. So, in order for an artist or band to be nominated, it has to be 25 years after their first major recording. And first-time nominees this year were Phil Collins, Shakira, Wu-Tang Clan, Lauryn Hill, Pink, Jeff Buckley, Luther Vandross. First time? What? INXS, Melissa Etheridge, and New Editions. It says here that Phil Collins was already inducted in the Rock of Hall fame.
The Rock of Hall fame.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of Genesis in 2010. So knowing that those are first timers, Phil Collins, Shakira, Wu-Tang Clan, Lauryn Hill, Pink, Jeff Buckley, Luther Vandross, INXS, and Melissa Etheridge, and New Edition. You want to change your thoughts on any of them?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna stand by. I'm probably way off, huh?
Well,
I can feel the
We're going to
heat.
look at the 2026 inductees from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame website. Phil Collins. I think that's a no-brainer.
Called
Again,
that one.
Similarly, it seems really weird that he wasn't already on there. Billy Idol.
Thank God. All right.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to kind of explain how important Billy Idol was to people who weren't alive during the time. And I also think that Steve Stevens is one of the most underrated guitarists of all time. He's an incredible,
He's still
incredible
rocking with him.
guitarist. Yeah,
Still rocking with him. It makes me so happy.
And he's just an amazing player, and he seems like a really great guy. He does some really interesting stuff that you wouldn't expect. We talked about Iron Maiden before. I think it's an absolute crime that Iron Maiden has not been on here before. We can dive.
This is going to be a really good year to go to the Rock Hall.
For the
If you
inductions.
guys have never gone there, it is cool. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff they haven't changed in literal decades by this point, which is kind of cool if you go there regularly because it's like feels like home. But every year when they get new inductees, they dedicate a whole floor to memorabilia, costumes, guitars, whatever, from the new inductees. And this is going to be a good roster to go check it out.
Joy Division, New Order made
Good.
it in, which again, that seemed like they had influenced so many people that came after them.
I said yes on that one, right?
Yes, you did. I believe you did. Oasis,
Yeah.
Sade made it. Luther Vandross.
I can't lie. I'm not even going to put it on a poker face. I don't know who Sade is.
Smooth operator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like invented that vibe.
Oh,
Actually,
maybe I would have changed it. I guess.
if that came out today, people would be like, "Whoa, it still sounds modern." When it comes out, that song is a banger.
I may have gotten that one if I would have put the pieces together right.
Luther Vandross made it, and then of the list that we had gone through, Wu-Tang Clan is the last that made it.
So I called it all.
I think you called Jeff Buckley as a yes too.
Oh, right.
Which I think,
But that's the only one I got wrong.
I think so. Yeah.
Damn it, man, that's a one-strike game.
So they have a bunch of other ones here. I think Fela Kuti, who I cannot believe was not already in there. Every time we talk about hip hop, and I talk about it on this podcast a lot, I say how weird it was. How I grew up in the late '80s into the early '90s was kind of my formative years, and I grew up with all these great female hip hop acts. And how often do I talk about Queen Latifah? Like every other
All the time.
episode. She's getting in this year. MC Light is getting in this year, which is amazing. I was not expecting.
Queen Latifah's getting in this year?
Queen
Why
Latifah.
didn't you bring that up?
Because it wasn't on the list in the previous one. Then there's I don't know. Apparently Rick
She's
Rubin,
like an afterthought. Rick Rubin is just now getting into the Rock Hall?
It's wild. Some of this stuff is weird.
Wait, Rick Rubin, the guy who made these bands basically who are in the Rock Hall.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, seriously, like so many of them.
That's crazy.
So of all of those about whom we talked, like I want to talk about like Iron Maiden in particular. For those of you who've watched this when I'm not here, there's a giant Iron Maiden flag behind me in the space in Minnesota where I live. Like Iron Maiden's one of my favorite bands. I cannot believe that they've not been in here. It's similar to Joy Division, who came around later. Iron Maiden influenced. That's like not having Black Sabbath in there or something. You know what I mean? Like they influenced so many people, and they did it so differently than anybody else. And they've done it this whole time. Like they've never really stopped. I saw them a little bit less than a year ago. It was actually the day after the original singer Paul Di'Anno passed away, and they gave him a shout out on stage. Okay, so if you don't know Iron Maiden, go ahead, because I'm gonna talk about it for a bit.
Well, that's just it. I want to chime in real quick because I don't know the politics of what it takes to get into the Hall of Fame and what they're doing. You mentioned that. Well, I don't know if you did mention it. We had a false start.
Yeah.
But you mentioned during the false start that there was the Illuminati.
Yeah, the music Illuminati.
Yeah, which I think is just like Kanye pulling stuff out of a hat. If he had
his way, that's what it would be.
And they all say Kanye.
Yeah, all the time. So there's a bunch of people who, those who sit above us in shadow, who cast their votes down on us. It's a trickle-down economy, as you know. And what they do is they vote on who goes into the Rock Hall. We don't know who they are. They're anonymous, too. And then there's a fan vote. So all the fans can go, you can log on the website and you can vote. And I was at the Rock Hall very recently as I was flying out of Cleveland. And I stopped. It was my first time ever going there. You had mentioned you go every year.
Yeah.
I had not been. I've never been. So I was walking around. I saw a lot of really great stuff. But like it's super weird that Iron Maiden's not in there, like how is that even possible? And so but I guess my point is that while I was there, the fan voting was still open, so they had on some of the screens log in and vote now, and it had the total, so you could see who was getting most of the fan votes, and that fan vote counts as one vote. I said earlier in the false start that it's not like the NBA All-Stars where it's the coaches and it's the media, and the people in the media and the coaches will tell you, I have a vote. Like you'll hear that and you'll know who's voting for what. There's some kind of accountability. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a private company that like these people really are the stewards of what exists moving forward as rock and roll culture. And it's becoming the Music Hall of Fame. I've got zero problem with LL Cool J being in the Rock Hall, with Run DMC being in the Rock Hall. Some of my all-time favorites, like the Beastie Boys being in the Rock Hall, more known for their hip hop than for their rock and roll, but clear, one of the first hardcore punk bands. But
I think it makes more sense for hip hop to be in the Rock Hall than some of these pop artists, if I'm being honest, because hip hop. And there's Johnny Rotten, John Lydon said it best. He's back when hip hop was first starting to come around. He was like, "Why wouldn't I like it? It's black punk rock." And I was like, that's a great quote. You know what I mean? It's the same, came from the same place.
Yeah. And there's like, there's a country music whole thing. So there already is a place for the country folks to go, right? So like, but I also have no problem with Dolly Parton being inducted in the Rock Hall a few years ago. Like that, I don't really have a problem with that. But like, it just seems so freaking weird to me that like Jeff Buckley, like if the Illuminati had a case to be made that it is good that they exist, it would be to get artists like Jeff Buckley into it, because we know that Jeff Buckley's not going to win the fan vote, right? Like that's very clear. You can tell by his monthly listens now. Would have said album sales back in the day, but like that is the argument that could be made for there being those who sit above us in shadow casting their votes down and saying like, actually Jeff Buckley is really important. I think Joy Division is another perfect example. Again, I don't know what took him so long to get in. Now, Iron freaking Maiden.
I'm going to let him go.
One of my favorite all-time bands, right? Okay, so there's a few things about Iron Maiden. If you don't really like know Iron Maiden, you just know that they're a metal band. They do so many things that are not metal that are really incredible. So first of all, there's no double bass drums, single bass drums. When you think about what is metal, it's like, well, okay, look, there's probably some screaming or some Cookie Monster vocals, right? None of those, because Bruce Dickinson was like a theater kid. This is more like opera singing than it is like screaming, right? And he never does the Cookie Monster stuff. Think about double bass drums, maybe some blast beats, or even just double bassing the way that like Lars did back in the day. None of that.
Slayer.
Yeah, exactly. Slayer's a perfect example. or even Pantera, one of my other favorite bands. You know, like with the groove with double bass drums.
That's the next level.
Yeah, exactly. Never happens. You also think about the chugging palm muted guitars. Never happens in Iron Maiden. So all these things that you're thinking, what is metal? To have one of the greatest bands, the most long-lasting bands, playing out there, still playing, were so big that Bruce Dickinson, the singer, just was like, yeah, he's an airplane pilot when he's not flying around, or when he's not flying around with Iron Maiden. He's like, let's get our own airplane. And he would just fly them around the world, and you would see the Iron Maiden plane land. And there were people who would travel the world with signs saying, like, my 170th Iron Maiden show. Like, this is a band that has that level of depth in the community and that level of, like, innovation in their music to not even just a first ballot Hall of Fame, but to have, like, waited this long for them to get there is just freaking wild. Now, that said, Bruce specifically has been on record that he does not like the Rock Hall. So it's very possible that they just won't show up. You know what I mean? Like this happens all the time. I don't know if you remember when Guns N' Roses was inducted and it was like Guns N' Roses without Axl. It's like, that's funny because he was the only member of Guns N' Roses for the last 20 years. You know, but the rest of them came in. And
the Sex Pistols.
Yeah.
Sex Pistols sent in a handwritten note saying, like, take this and shove it.
Yeah, Rage Against the Machine, you know, only Tom showed up. Yeah, like there's a tradition of that. So Oasis too, Liam, who we talked about recently, and do you remember how I described him in the one about?
Oh yeah, really nice guy, really down to earth and grounded.
Yes, he's exactly the kind of prick you would expect of a rock star named Liam, right? But he said, I think the exact quote was rock
with a equally / maybe a little more talented brother in the band,
exponentially more talented brother, but he with way less charisma, to be clear. But he said that rock and roll doesn't belong, quote, in a mausoleum in Cleveland, Ohio. And I was like, that sounds like what an English, you know, what there is a specific kind, you know, when Muse first hit, I don't think I ever told you, the first time I saw Muse was in the late 90s, and the show was Muse, Foo Fighters, Red Hot Chili Peppers. And no one knew who Muse was. We're like, what the heck was that? And I looked him up and found out about him. And then I was like, oh my God, these guys are great. And I came to this realization that I think there's a certain kind of rock and roll that you need to be like a skinny, scraggly toothed English guy to be able to play. you know? And Oasis is like, they were the kind of gatekeepers of that for a long time. They were the harbingers of the second British invasion. So I could see how they would feel that way. Like, well, that's not where rock and roll belongs. It's not where it's from. It would be really interesting to see where he thinks it does belong. But he also, if I remember correctly,
I can tell you where he can put it.
Yeah, I can. I think he said, I think someone asked him, like, well, what would you do if you got inducted? And he said, well, of course I would show up and act like it was the best thing ever. You know what I mean? So, like,
just like saving his butt. Like,
yeah,
like
exactly.
No matter what happens, he's gonna be right on.
You can't tell how snarky he is, but we'll see what actually happens. Like, it's very like you said. This if you look at this, like, this could be an amazing year to show up, or it could not be. You know, like the biggest ones could just not be there.
Well, I think another important thing to go over is why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is in a mausoleum in Cleveland, Ohio. And that's because that is where the term rock and roll got coined. Alan Freed was a DJ in Cleveland, and he was one of the first big city DJs to start playing Johnny Cash and Elvis and Johnny Burnett and Jerry Lee Lewis and Chuck Berry, and got so much heat, and he coined the term rock and roll. And that's why the whole Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is really just a dedication to this DJ who put rock and roll on the map and invented the term. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not.
Yeah,
I did not.
Yeah, so that's why Cleveland, Ohio, is the home of rock and roll, because it literally came through the airwaves one time. Alan Freed was talking about this new kind of music that's coming off, and everybody's rocking and rolling to it.
Huh. Is that why, was that Mott the Hoople did the Cleveland Rocks song that Jim Carrey used for the intro of his show? Was it?
First off, Drew Carey.
What did I say?
I don't know. Jim Carrey.
Oh,
he said Jim Carrey. Second off, isn't that the presidents of the United States who sing?
Was it?
Cleveland Rocks?
All right, you talk about something else for a minute.
All right. So anyway, yeah, that's the little little tidbit I have another little tidbit too. While Dev looks this up. Am I right?
It was Ian Hunter. 1979 on the album "You're Never Alone with a Schizophrenic."
What? That song is not that old.
Oh, the President of the United States did a cover. They did the cover of it for the Drew Carey Show.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. But since we're talking about rock and roll history, and I'm going to let Dev go on more about Iron Maiden, because I know there's more.
There's so much more.
Which, by the way, I want you to brainstorm this while I give this little tidbit. It has to do with the political aspect of it, of people getting in and, the politicking of, is it better to wait? Or because one of them said something bad about the Rock Hall, is there punishment they have to wait?
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit like the wrestling industry. You get punished if you don't play ball. But so while you're thinking of that, I'm going to talk about Chubby Checker. I know, right? Here goes Matt talking about his weird 50s stuff again. So Chubby Checker, the twist. Let's twist again. Like all the twist songs belong to Chubby Checker. Chubby Checker was a great singer in the late 50s, mid 60s, who had a cool voice, but he was kind of like a made rock star in a way. Somebody wrote the twist and they found this guy with this cool voice and they were like, well, all right, this guy can twist, he can dance, he has the look, he has the voice. We'll give him this song and we'll make him the twist guy, but we have to come up with a name. And they couldn't figure out what name to give him. Now, Chubby Checker actually wasn't that big, but he wasn't a little tiny thing either. But he was big enough that they could get away with calling him Chubby, these big cheeks. So they were like, who is the number one selling big guy artist right now? And it was Fats Domino. And they were like, well, we're going to make our own Fats Domino. And instead of Fats, we'll call him Chubby. Instead of Dominoes, we'll call him Checker. So that's how he got his name. Chubby Checker was literally industry people kind of creating him. Now, with that said, I never really was a big fan because I don't like generated rock stars. I like people who made something from the ground up. Fast forward to 2026 from 1960. He is still out there performing nonstop. His band kicks ass. He just played a few weeks ago. I just saw a show. He just played a few weeks ago, and he comes out, and he's like 83 or 84. He's got checkered cowboy boots on. Like, looks amazing for his age. Out there doing the twist, and his voice sounds exactly the same. I couldn't believe what I was watching. So I graciously bow down and go, you know what? I might not like manufactured rock stars, but dude, go. Dude proved his point and his longevity, and the fact he's still out there. Hats off to you, Chubby Checker.
So I'm old enough that I remember. Does anybody remember the Fat Boys?
Yes.
So I remember his resurgence with the Fat Boys in the late 80s. And even then, everyone's like, wow, I can't believe he's still doing it. And yeah, that was close to 40 years ago. That's incredible.
Yeah, from 1960 to 2026. Still going. Still playing weekly. And his band is, when I say awesome, I mean, they are a high energy version. They're playing those songs double speed, and he's keeping right up, and he's moving his hips and getting the crowd going. He's amazing. I was so impressed at this video I watched earlier this week that I'm actively seeking out where the closest place he is to see now.
Nice.
Because his band was so tight, and it was stepping back in the past. I really haven't seen anybody be able to do it aside from a couple bands that I play with and my band, because we care about preserving that style but adding to it. And there's just not a lot of people think 50s rock and roll's goofy. Because it is. That's the point. It's fun.
Is Chubby Checker in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Okay, I was about to say we got that would be weird if he wasn't.
No, he's got to be.
All right, so
and now while you talk, I'm going to look that up because I don't want to look more of an ass.
So I just want to talk about not only Iron Maiden's how innovative they were in terms of metal. They played fast, not slow and heavy. They played fast and energetic. The difference between what Black Sabbath was doing in early metal and what Iron Maiden was listen to Aces High, one of my favorite guitar riffs. It is soaring. There's key changes. It's almost punk beats. Is Chubby Checker not in the Rock and Roll?
Chubby Checker was officially inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as part of the 2026 class.
Well, yeah, it just wasn't.
So we totally missed that, apparently. So how weird is it that I brought up Chubby Checker not knowing that he was part of this?
It might have not. It was not even on the front page of the Rock Hall's
disgusting
inductions. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. That one shook me a little bit.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Wow, so I feel bad saying that Iron Maiden waited a long time. Because Chubby Checker, one of the greatest, selling or
the Limbo.
Was that him too?
The Limbo Rock. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Chubby Checker did the Twist, the Limbo. Let's twist again. A couple other songs called Twist.
Yeah. Did you ever do the Limbo on roller skates?
That's the only way I know the Limbo.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Evan Skateland.
Yeah,
there's some Mill Creek history. Mill Creek, Pennsylvania.
Hard to skip the beat. I was like, oh my god. I think it was my body vomiting on the inside.
Those shag walls.
Yeah.
There's always gum in them.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, but Iron Maiden, the harmony guitars are completely different than they are on most metal stuff. Specifically, I think some must listen to stuff. I just mentioned Aces High, which somehow has kind of gotten lost in the shuffle when we're talking about Iron Maiden. But Hallowed Be Thy Name, I think is like one of the greatest metal songs ever written. And specific part of the inspiration for this podcast to start it was one called Lost in Vegas, which is these two guys, Ryan and George, who are like mainly hip hop fans, and they would listen to suggestions, and that gave me the idea for doing this podcast. Watch their version or their episode on Hallowed Be Thy Name, because they start out listening to a song and then they are philosophers by the end of it, which is what Iron Maiden does to you, especially when you're young. The first time you listen to it, you're like, oh, what's going on here? It's very, 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 very different than other stuff that was going on at the time. I also want to bring up Bruce Dickinson and how he's not just like a great frontman. I saw him twice in the last year and a half. Once I had mentioned earlier with Iron Maiden. And if you haven't seen Iron Maiden live, it is one of the most incredible stage shows. We've got these bands that have moved the stage show forward. Iron Maiden was one of the first. We're talking, go back and look at what they were doing with Power Slave. We're talking like Pink Floyd, David Bowie, Iron Maiden.
Were they the first band to have a mascot?
I'm
a little disappointed we haven't talked about that.
I'm not sure if they were the first, but so like Ed, they also came out using this. They've been using the same font that Iron Maiden, the same font, and Ed, their mascot, the entire time. And the last couple of times I've seen him, like Ed will come out and have a sword fight. There's a 10-foot version, like someone in a suit on stilts will come out and have a sword fight with Bruce during a guitar solo. The last time I saw him, I'll see if I can find the footage and put it in here. They came out and Bruce had a turret, and Ed was shooting fireworks at him, and he was shooting fireworks back. And Bruce is 65, 67 years old while he's doing this in a full trench coat with the operatic stuff. It's incredible. And then when Iron Maiden's not on tour, Bruce has his own project, his solo project called the Mandrake Project that he's doing now. That's his entire concept thing that he's not quite sure what he's doing, what he's not going to do. I saw this band the other year, and I was like, there's no way. That's got to be a clone of Bruce Dickinson. There's no way he's doing all of this stuff in his mid to late 60s and running around the stage doing that stuff. There's just not many people who can have that type of career, but also just like put out that much stuff. Like being prolific is different than being impactful, and he's managed to do both.
Use it or lose it, folks.
Yeah.
Use it or lose it. You notice it all the time. Whenever bands go on hiatus, they're never the same again. But there are bands out there that have just been going strong and are getting stronger with age. I look at Green Day. I think Green Day is one of those bands. They've just never stopped. And I don't know if you ever saw Green Day live, but like those dudes are in their 50s now and still basically doing everything except for backflips on stage.
Yeah, we brought up Wu-Tang the couple times I saw Wu-Tang.
Right.
Like as they were getting older, I was like, are they getting better? I think I talked about this on the pod before when I want to say it was 2009, it might have been 2010 or something. I saw him in San Francisco, and Meth went all the way, like he went to the back bar in the theater and with the mic, and then did a front flip into and he was getting the beer belly, you know what I mean? Like he was in his 50s, I think, at the time, and like did a front flip onto the crowd, and then they crowd surfed and they carried him back to the stage. It was incredible, like just out of this world, like.
Dude,
I'm glad he thought of that. I'm glad he did that.
I'm so glad those guys are a team. Well, I
They're
mean,
crew, full on crew.
Oh yeah, full on crew. In fact, did you watch? Speaking of crew, I'm glad you brought this up because I want to bring it up. Artemis 2, they landed.
Yeah.
Did you watch their press conference?
No,
their first one since they landed.
No.
Man, those guys are awesome. Like they are, dude. Like they seem so real. And so all they talked about the whole time, they're in space, circling the moon, doing stuff that like barely any human has ever or will
been
ever.
Further away from the planet than any other.
Right.
Human.
And it was so important to watch. And I know we're getting off track here, but remember the fact that you said crew. So they came back, and every single one of them, all 4 of them that talked, all they talked about was how important it was to get home and people and the connection they had when they were in space. Nothing about the science, like what we learned by going up there, or at least what those 4 people learned, is the importance of being a human. Yeah. That they were working as a team together. They realized they were different people from different cultures and had to rely on each other and created this bond. And that's what kept them alive. That's what kept them going and getting home and seeing the family. Like, it was so human. And the way they all reacted to it was so like unscripted, real. It was really a breath of fresh air that I think everyone should watch. But and I forget her name, the female astronaut that was up there. Her speech said when they were getting ready to leave and they were going through training and everything, one of the classes was what's the difference, or one of the questions she got asked was what's the difference between a team and a crew. And she goes on, I'm not even going to try and paraphrase it. Just go watch it. Her explanation of what a crew is and how Earth is a crew it hits so deep, especially in the climate we're in. But anyway, yes, Wu-Tang is a crew. But can you imagine having, like you're good at what you do, everyone's part of it, and then Meth gets up and just
it was
Meth's out the whole time, and you're just like, shit, I gotta really make my next line awesome because we've seen them live. It's almost hard to look at anybody else.
I mean, they were pretty spellbinding. I will say that. I only seen them live twice. I think I told this story before. It might have been in one of our pre-production episodes. We did a few of these when we were getting ready to do it. But maybe about a month before I saw them, I saw Rakim with Ghostface Killah and Brother Ali in Minneapolis, and where I lived, and then I flew out to San Francisco to visit my sister to see Wu-Tang about a month later. And somewhere in between there, Ghostface got arrested, so he was in jail. Like, I saw Ghostface without Wu-Tang, and then like 5 weeks later, I saw Wu-Tang without Ghostface. They didn't skip a beat, and it was pretty amazing.
No, they probably understand.
Yeah,
we got it covered.
Yeah. So to bring it home, I want to talk about my first trip to the Rock Hall. About a couple weeks ago, and one of the things that I saw there that I really liked the most was Soundgarden's old van. Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is the van that they bought that they drove around for the first
is it red?
Couple tours. It's like a brown. Yeah. And I did not know this, and I found this out recently. Hiro Yamamoto, the original bassist for Soundgarden, part of the down payment they made on that van was the reparation money that he's Japanese, that his family got for being interned from the U.S. internment of Japanese folks in the generation before him, so like the generation before us, but the World War II era. So like it's really like that made it such a like much more of a monument than it was already like one of the coolest things I ever saw, and that really kind of changed my perception of what a lot of those things are that are there. Like they stand for a lot more than just like, it's just rock and roll, it's just music. It's like, people are always like, you play guitar, that's cute, until they need something to believe in, and they're like, oh, actually, music is super important.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. We got about, I think we got about 6 or 7 minutes that we can riff on this. Let's just not go too into detail, but I told you I'm very familiar with all the floors of Rock Hall, and I have my favorite stuff. But like, let's go back and forth on some of the most highlighting things or some of the things. Like, I don't know about you, but there's been certain things that I see and it almost takes my breath away. Like I forget, like, oh man, like that's how it's right there, the thing from the music video or the suit or whatever.
Yep.
What was, I mean, obviously the van, But like, what's another one that kind of gave you that moment of ooh?
The Jimi Hendrix Love Drops Flying V.
That's what I was waiting for. I knew it was going to be one of Hendrix's guitars.
Blew me. I was that. Oh my god, it's right there.
Yeah,
it's like right there. Yeah, that one blew me away.
Mine was Eddie Cochran's guitar, the big orange Gretsch. Mm-hmm. Oh, gave me goosebumps. You know.
Gretsch. For those of you out there who are players like me and don't own a Gretsch yet, this guy needs to get a couple Gretches. I've had 4 Gretches. I've given 3 of them away because they're so good they want to be played. You know, and there's so much more shred in them than you think there is. Like, pick one up if you're a guitarist. No matter what style you play. Can I riff on Gretsch for a second?
Yeah, I've had 2. I sold them both. Yeah,
okay. Well, you don't got none right now, so you got to get some. But the everyone talks about humbuckers. You know, yes, humbuckers, Gibson, but what do humbuckers do? They filter out the hum. Gretsch Filtertrons predate the humbuckers by Gibson. And they are the most tone that you can imagine. There's another great one that you should look up, which is Chet Atkins playing Mr. Sandman, and it still sounds absolutely spectacular. And even with the lo-fi recording that they had at the time, and I believe that a huge part of that is the Filtertrons. Like, I play 6119 Tennessee Rose Players Edition, which is basically the version right below the Chet. Like, it's kind of based on the Chet signature version, but it's a little bit different. And when I think of like what is a guitar, it's basically that. But yeah, if you pick one up, it sounds amazing, and I can only imagine what that guitar would sound like if you got to like plug it in. It would tell an entire novella. You play one note, you know, and an entire universe of storytelling will come out of Eddie Cochran's guitar. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
All right, and that was Dev's deep dive on Gretsch guitars, brought to you by 6 Tuning Pegs. You can find out more at 6tuningpegs.com. For the love of guitar, innovation solution. I don't have the script.
Technology solutions for guitarists and the rest of the world.
That's what it was. 6tuningpegs.com, folks. Another one for me, whenever I go to the Rock Hall, that I always have to see is, rewind. I got to see Buddy Holly's glasses.
Oh, right, yeah.
From the plane crash. Yeah. That took my breath away.
Yeah.
That was a hard one to see.
And if you're ever around there, I was once driving. Like I said, I live in Minnesota. I was driving back from St. Louis, and a friend of mine was like, "Oh, you should go to the crash site." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's just in the middle of a field. It's pretty
Clear Lake, Iowa."
Yeah, and it's literally in the middle of a field. I had to like park my car and ride my one wheel out to it, and I had my black horn rim glasses on. I left them there. There's big glasses, different things that have been changed there. But you can, the day the music died was a feature that he had done on here. Kind of deep dove into it. We'll put a card up there, I think. So if you want to check out that episode, you can check that one out.
So another thing that took your breath away at Rock Hall.
I don't know. Oh man. There were lyrics by so many different people, like actual lyric sheets.
How weird was that?
It was crazy to see the moment of inspiration be captured. I think some of the Janis Joplin stuff actually really hit me. I always kind of forget how big of a Janis Joplin fan I am. And another one who I think has been kind of disappears from whether I have a rental car this time when I'm driving. On classic rock radio, I hear very little Janis. I hear very little Janis on classic rock, like broadcast radio and stuff. But some of my favorite music, and when I throw on Pearl, it's a no skip album. I don't think we talked about that in no skip. But there was a bunch of Janis. There was a whole corner that was all Janis stuff, and that was pretty awesome.
I have Pearl in my record collection in the Faced records. Joey Ramone's coat.
Oh, right, yeah.
Joey Ramone's leather jacket was always a big one. And the very first time I went there, they had a whole Beatles tribute. And we're talking like 15, 20 years ago now. Definitely 20 years ago. And they had a whole John Lennon exhibit. And in this like little case, it was almost like when you go to a zoo and you go to the rodents section where they have just like one tower and it has all these weird little windows next to it, that you can look in at different rodents. Like that's how this setup was. It was all white and had these weird little windows. One of them was the forensics bag with all of his blood-splattered clothes in it.
Oh.
And right next to it were the glasses he was wearing. Those yellow-tinted glasses.
Yeah.
Blood splatter on them. It was like, dude, talk about heavy.
Yeah.
And they had the Yoko Ono phone, which was there for a long time. I don't know. Have you ever heard of this? There was a phone there that sat on this pedestal called the Yoko Ono phone. And randomly, whenever the hell she felt like it, she would just call it, and whoever could answered it could talk to Yoko Ono. like the most Yoko Ono thing I've ever heard.
That's the most Yoko thing.
That was a real thing.
That's pretty interesting.
But all right,
Wow.
I think I'm about tapped out. I'm looking forward to checking out the Rock Hall and seeing what happens with the future of it. I think they've done a really good job at getting the people in there that need to be, and like holding off so there's some meat on the bone. You know what I mean? Like, Chubby Checker getting inducted is sad that it took this long, but also awesome because, like, that's a real piece of music history who's going to walk up on that stage and be part of that event. If it was just a whole bunch of people that were around in the last 30 years, I feel like it would not have as much. So maybe that's why.
That's actually that's a really good point. I think it does make sense sometimes because you get even more reverence for them, and it's also really hard. I guess it might be really hard to induct someone who's still out there and doing it. You know what I mean? It's like, well, how much more are they going to do? They might be more worthy of it in the future. Very quickly, I want to bring up Rush's induction. If you have not seen,
do you like Rush?
Oh my god.
That was like the most honest reaction.
I got the vapors. I'm hoping he's going to ask me to prom.
we got him,
wait
guys.
for his promposal.
Anyway, go ahead.
but watch their induction speech. I think Alex Lifeson gives probably the best speech I've ever seen in my life, and Dave and Taylor from Foo Fighters are the ones who induct them. It's worth watching the entire thing if you like rock and roll. It's absolutely incredible. All right, and with that, are we done?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, unless you guys have any questions.
Or who do you think should and should not be getting into the Rock Hall, in the next couple of years? And what do you think about it? Because everyone's got opinions, and I think they love that we have opinions and that there are dissenting opinions about them. But yeah, let us know. I'm sure we'll probably do this every year, quite honestly. But,
this is fun. And don't forget, Dev makes playlists for every single episode.
Oh, this is going to be a weird one. It's going to be like all the Chubby Checker and Sade and stuff. Yeah, this is gonna be a lot.
And we got to do Let's Twist again if we're doing Chubby Checker.
Twist again.
Because, we did talk about the limbo a little bit, though. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
It might be the one with the Fat Boys. Chubby Checker and the Fat Boys.
I remember that.
Yeah.
So Dev put together playlists from every episode about the artists and musicians we talk about every episode. Make sure to check it out at onceapodatune.com, onceapodatune.com. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
But if you go to onceapodatune.com, you can check out every one of our older episodes, and right underneath them is a link to a Spotify playlist. He does an awesome job. They're really cool. They're all over the place, like good house cleaning and driving music.
Yeah, real good driving music. All right, and this is something that we do every Friday. So Once Upon a Tune, the podcast about tunes where we celebrate music.
And the characters who make it. Peace out, y'all.
See you next week. Cheers.